And we start again. You can calculate compound interest. Compound interest is a pretty cool thing. If you ever go to put money in a bank account as an investment, like if you only put $100 in, you only make money on that $100 unless they compound the interest to the original value. So what that means is if over, a year I make $1 on my interest, and so I put $100 in, but after a year I have $101, if they don't compound your interest, then you continue to only make money off of the $100 you put in the account. However, if they compound your interest, now I'm making money on the $101. And I know that that's not a huge difference, but now next year, instead of making only $1, I'll have made $1 and a penny, let's say. And then that gets added, so now I'm making interest on $102 and a penny, which means next year I make just a little bit extra money. And over time, the money in the account builds, and so you get to make more money off of that interest. So really you want as many compounding periods as you can if you have the option. Now this formula looks a little different. You're always going to use this formula if you have compounded interest. Read here, it tells you exactly what all the variables mean. P is the principal amount. That means how much money did you start with in the account? How much money did you put in? R is the percent that they give you. However, you need to write it as it's supposed to be as a decimal, but they'll usually give it to you in percent form. N is going to be the number of compounding periods each year. Okay, that's important. Compounding periods each year. Notice that you do use it twice. And T is time in years. So let's do an example. Find the account balance after 20 years if $100 is placed in an account that pays 1.2 interest compounded twice a month. That's important. Twice a month. Basically, you just get to plug information in. So find the account balance. That means find A. So I don't know what A is. P is the initial amount, so $100. Parentheses, 1 plus R as a decimal, so you need to move the decimal point over 2 places, 0.012, and divide that by the number of compounding periods. Since it says twice a month, how many months are in a year? 12. So if they do it twice a month, that would mean there are 24 compounding periods per year. That's good. And so 24 on top here, because you just use the same value. And we're looking for after 20 years. Great, so plug in a 20 right there. Here's my suggestion for solving these. Go ahead and plug this into your calculator right away. I get 480. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. And that's going to be the very last thing I write down. So if you don't have your calculator out, go ahead and pull it out so that you can follow along, because I'm going to read my answers out loud, but I'm not going to write them down. Because I'm going to want an as exact answer as possible. So the first thing I do is I'm going to plug in this the division. So 0.012, and I'm going to divide that by 24. My calculator says 5e negative 4, okay, or 1.0005. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not 0.0005. Then, in my calculator, I know that if I add 1, that's just 1.005, but I am going to go ahead and plug it in so that my calculator knows that that's the number I want. So now my calculator says that 1.0005. What I have at this point, if I'm following order of operations, this is what I have. Of course, I would typically not be writing this down. I know following order of operations, I need to do the exponent next, so I'm going to hit that caret key, 480. And my calculator now is going to say ANS for answer with caret key 480. I push enter, I get a big long decimal, but I'm not going to typically be writing down. But if you're curious, it is 1.2711722903. Then, if I'm following order of operations, I know the last thing I need to do, okay, number there, is I need to multiply by 100. So again, I just hit times 100, so that now my calculator says ants 100. And my final answer is 127. Again, if this is dollars, it makes sense to round to 2 decimal points. Okay, and now I have gotten as an exact of an answer as possible. Okay? Notice you don't make a whole lot of interest at only 1.2%. So, all right, thank you.